In this video, I'm going to show you how to match the pitch of your audio entrainment track, be that isochronic beats or binaural beats, with a audio soundtrack. Now, some soundtracks will work better than others. If they're an ambient type of track that has a constant drone, it should work especially well. However, busy tracks with a lot of changes, like dance music or rock and roll music or what have you, will be a little bit more difficult. But generally, every pop type song has a constant key to it. But ambient music will certainly work the best for this process. So let's get started. What we want to do first, and I have two tracks laid out here, and I'm just going to go show you the end result. So that is a Thought Sounds track, and what I've done is I've stacked. This turns out to be in the key of F minor, so I've created an F minor chord, and I've applied light modulation on the isochronic beat with the intensity of around 50, and I created a minor chord that matches the pitch of that. And there's a big advantage to that, because no longer will your audio entrainment track clash with your sound file. They'll actually reinforce each other. So there's a lot of advantages to doing that, as far as not only lack of dissonance, which in itself can create extra beats, and also be generally uncomfortable to listen to, but it'll also reinforce that entrainment as it's moving along with the pitch of the audio. Those peaks will reinforce each other. So let's just take a look on how to do that. So the first thing we want to do, I already have this one laid out. Let's actually start completely fresh. I won't save that. All right. And let's insert a sound file. And you'll notice that how you find the Mind Workstation sound files is you go to normally it's your C drive, wherever your program files are, and then you go into your program files. This is a 64-bit system, so Mind Workstation would be in Program Files x86. And you find Mind Workstation, open that, go to the Resources folder and the Sounds folder. Now there's a few Thought Sounds samples, 4 of them, that are available, and they're in the MP sound format. So we need to get those into a format that we can work with beside the MP sound. So I'm going to open that one, let it bring it in, or let it come in. Now this is a 30-minute session, and we don't want to loop this because we don't need the 30 minutes. We only need the length of this audio track. So I've selected it here by clicking on it, and then I can look over here in the sound file properties to see that it is 1 minute 25.2 seconds. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and reduce my session length down to that, and I'm going to copy this format. Mind Workstation will take several different type of time formats. In another video I'll cover that, but I'm going to enter it exactly like you see right here. Okay, so we're going to go 00:01:25.2, and we'll accept that. And you can see that it immediately scales the session down to the perfect length to fit that sound file. So now the session perfectly matches it, and what we want to do next is export. So we're going to export this sound file, and I'll do it on the desktop, and let's just call it TS1. It's Thought Stream or Thought Sounds, and we'll save that, and so that exports immediately. Now we have it in a WAV file format that we can work with. So my WAV files are mapped to Audacity, so all I need to do is double click. I can hit OK and read the file. So this is the converted Thought Sounds soundtrack. All right. Now, there's a free program. We don't want to save that. There is a free program. I have it here in my apps, and it's called Key Finder. And I'll put a link up on the screen now. And you'll want to download that and just copy it to your hard drive. There's no installer. So I have an apps folder for things that don't have installers that I keep everything in. So once you put that there, then you'll find the keyfinder.exe and click on that. And that's bigger than we need. Go ahead and close the apps folder. And what we want to do now is we want to drag that file in, and we can expand it now so we'll see all the columns. And it immediately runs it and finds the key and detects the key as the key of F minor. All right, so there's the information that we need from that. We now know that TS1 wave is an F minor. So we could actually at this point, we no longer need this, throw it away, and go back to Mind Workstation here, where that thought sounds track is, knowing now that it's in the key of F minor. So what we want to do is we want to add content. You could either go straight to isochronic beats or monaural beats or whatever you want, but we're going to do tones, no beats. Okay, so now that we have our content track, what we want to do is set the pitch of this track to be F minor. And if you are not familiar with music, then you'll want to be able to identify these keyboard keys, or you could go to this website that I'll show you here. If you search Google for frequencies of musical notes, I'll put this on the screen as well. The result that comes up is this website right here, and it has all of the notes listed for most of the octaves, or several of the octaves that are available across the MIDI type keyboard or piano keyboard, all the way up to the 8th octave. So what we want to do is find a pitch that is useful to us in an entrainment range, or something that mixes with our music as far as the octave. So let's target 174.61. You could also choose 87.31 or higher if you wanted to do that. But let's target 174.61. Now in Mind Workstation, since we're in F, then you may know that E and F don't have a half step between them, as well as B and C don't. So this is B, this is C, D, E, F. There's no half steps between those. So we can target our F as being right here. And that just happens to be one below. So if you know your pitch is 180, then you could, knowing that you're targeting 174.61, you could easily just drag down one and fish around and find it. But there's your F. So if we add this F right now, then we will be in key with this piece of music. And I'll go ahead and reduce the volume of the music substantially. And so you can hear that our drone here is in key with that music. So that alone is beneficial and reinforces it. Now if we go ahead and we add entrainment to it, so let's go to our FX here, and let's add an entrainment type, amplitude entrainment, and we need to assign an entrainment track. Let's see that under track properties that it did that automatically for us, and we'll play. So now we have pulsing isochronic beats in the key of the music track, which by itself is very nice. But we're going to go ahead and go another level because it told us that it was in the key of F minor. So let's go ahead and add the minor tonality to that. Again, you may not be familiar with music, so we're going to rely upon a website to help us to determine what we need to do. So here's this website, manythings.org, piano theory. So we want to find our key. Now I've already done this, as you can see, and there's the result. So we want to select the note, which is F, and we're going to create a triad. That's what these are. These are telling us if we're going to create just the single note or a diatonic, a triad, and so forth. We want to create a triad, which is 3, and we'll select minor from the list. Now the list is huge, but we'll select minor, and that will give us what we need. Now, if you were to know anything about modes, it doesn't really matter, but this is Aeolian mode. And you'll notice that if you select here or here, now you're switching kind of what the keyboard's showing. This is showing us a scale. This is showing us the chord. The chord's what we want. So it tells us that we want F, A flat, and C. And that'll create our minor chord. So going back to Mind Workstation, we can either double click here, which opens that, or click tone options. They're the same thing. And we're going to add some more tones. So we go here and we hit the little plus sign, the green plus sign, and we need to add an A flat. So we have F, F sharp, G, G sharp, which is another name for A flat. And you can see the layout again here on this website. It'll show you which key that you want, which is why this is a particularly good website to use for this purpose. All right, so we have our A flat added. Now we're going to go ahead and add our C, and that's right here. And the way the website will show you that. So now we have a minor chord, and that has isochronic beats. And let's, again, I prefer in this process to reduce the intensity down a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and put that at 50. And there we are. So now we're at half modulation. And as you can hear, they blend nicely. So if you find music dominating, or you find that the music can overwhelm you at times, then maybe you just want the music to have a little bit of color in the background while you have your main tone near the top, very prominent, but it's in key. It's perfectly in key. So it's reinforcing that soundtrack, and then the soundtrack just becomes color. It just, you know, highlights gives some texture to the overall session without dominating it. So we actually don't have any entrainment set now on this sound file. We could if we'd like, but we don't have to. We've created a nice little session that has body to it and reinforces it. So that is a simple way, relatively simple. You have to do a little bit of manipulation and some calculation to get what you want. And again, not all music tracks are going to work as well as you would like if there's a lot of changes or what have you. But we're talking generally about meditation music, and especially things like the thought sounds track will work especially well. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.